Chapter 84 Tai Chi. The strength of the Divine Blood Army was beyond everyone's expectations. However, even if the people of the four great families were to take action, they were still in danger. Great Yuan Imperial Dynasty. Is it going to be over? The people revealed a look of horror because this Divine Blood Army was not going to attack the city, but to slaughter it. That is, not to leave a single person behind. Strong people in the city also stood out, but without a strong person from the heaven-opening palace, it was useless. One could only watch with bated breath. At this moment, Lord Mo of the City West suddenly requested Mr. Gu to step in. Mr. Gu. That Mr. Gu who wrote Chivalry and General Wine. Can he? The way of the book, yes. Mr. Gu's calligraphy is extraordinary. Maybe he can. Countless people looked towards the place where Gu Hai's manor was in anticipation. Mr. Gu. I implore Mr. Gu to save us. Mr. Gu. Lord Mo said you can do it, Mr. Gu. More and more people gathered outside the manor, pleading for Mr. Gu to take action. Gu Hai's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked in the direction of the Great Jade Hall. What was more important than retreating from the enemy when the country was in trouble? Great Empress Xi was actually still in seclusion. Gu Hai. Gong Yongsheng looked towards Gu Hai in doubt. Why was that person who had set up the formation earlier so sure that Gu Hai could help? Great Empress Xu isn't going to make a move. Long Shenwu's eyes narrowed slightly as he looked towards the Great Jade Hall. Obviously, he was also puzzled about what Great Empress Xi was doing right now. Brother-in-law, what now? Long Wenyu looked towards Gu Hai. Divine Marshal King, Uniki, and Camp Master Li, the safety of County Lord Wenyu depends on all of you. Gu Hai looked solemnly at the three nodded. The three of them clearly had no intention of making a move to help with Daiwan's national disaster. You're going to help Dayuan. Li Shenji, however, frowned. Mr. Mo has opened his mouth. This face, I have to give. Moreover, the Divine Blood Army entering the city, sooner or later, we will have to face it. Why don't we go ahead and try? If I can delay it for a moment, so that the people of Daiwan can be saved, it would be considered a great merit. Gu Hai laughed. The three frowned as they looked at Gu Hai. When you, be careful, Gu Hai solemnly said. Brother-in-law, you be careful too. Long Wenyu nodded with some worrying. Gu Hai nodded. Stepping down, he jumped off the floating island. Under the floating island, Bing Ji and the others also revealed a worried look. Your Majesty, Metropolis City is in danger now. Should we use the giant foothills to hide? Bing Ji worriedly said. On the side, Giant Foot looked at Gu Hai respectfully. Vanishing is needed, just in case. Giant Foot, you carve a tunnel out. It won't be used for a while, just in case, Gu Hai solemnly said. Yes, Giant Foot nodded. Bing Ji, go inform Ziwei and Chongsheng. Just say my request. Ask them to protect Long Wenyu's safety, Gu Hai solemnly said. Hung them, Bing Ji looked disbelieving. Not bad, them, Gu Hai nodded. Yes, Bing Ji nodded bitterly, somewhat confused. Also, have Chongsheng draw a painting. No, as many as he can. The kind of painting in Dragon Vein City, just in case, Gu Hai solemnly said. Oh, okay, Bing Ji nodded. After making the arrangements, Gu Hai slowly stepped and walked out of the manor's foggy area. Outside the fog, a large number of people were already kneeling at this moment, all coming from the four directions, each with frightened and eager faces. Seeing Gu Hai come out, nearly everyone burst into cheers. Mr. Gu, please also come out, Mr. Gu. Mr. Gu has come out, a crowd of people shouted. The people of the Mo Mansion, however, delivered 8 jade boxes. On top of each jade box, a direction was written. Within the jade boxes, a golden chess piece was placed. Mr. Gu, this is the starting chess piece for the Metropolis Quadrilateral 29 formations. We are incompetent and will not open it. A group of people from the Mo Mansion said bitterly, "Give it to me, flying boat, carry me to the north of the city," Gu Hai solemnly said. "Yes," the crowd of people from the Mo Mansion answered. "Many thanks, Mr. Gu," the surrounding people said excitedly. The flying boat carried Gu Hai and flew quickly to the north of the city. Along the way, countless people saw Gu Hai's flying boat, and all of a sudden, each one of them looked at the flying boat gratefully. "Thank you for your hand, Mr. Gu. Thank you." Countless people were in gratitude. The feelings turned into merit and virtue and went straight to Gu Hai. The people were numerous. The merit and virtue accumulated and piled up into chair. For a while, Gu Hai's body was surrounded by golden light. All of it was countless chair. In Metropolis City, the 4 great families guarding the city was rightful. The people weren't that grateful, whereas Gu Hai, an outsider, had come to protect himself. This was what needed to be appreciated. The checkout was on his body. Gu Hai's surroundings were all soothing, and his thoughts were clear in countless ways. The land north of the city, boom. Qin Zibai was once again chopped away by the second army chief. Theft. A mouthful of blood spurted out. "Humph. How dare you stop me even though you're new to the Midheaven Palace? Don't measure up to your own strength. Everyone else, what are you looking at? Why don't you slaughter the city? Do I need you guys here?" The second army chief let out a loud shout. Yes, the 400,000 strong army let out a loud shout. Rumble. The horses' heads were turned around, and they were suddenly killing towards the north of the city. Hey ha 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 ha, a bunch of gutless rats, hey ha ha. The Second Legion's army killed in laughter. On the North City Tower, Gu Hai had arrived. The surrounding group of generals were immediately respectful, waiting for Gu Hai to dispatch them. In the past, many of these generals had attacked the Great Han Dynasty, and when they saw Gu Hai's arrival at this moment, they immediately looked guilty. However, the crowd didn't dare to disturb Gu Hai. However, they saw Gu Hai take out a box with the words "Due North" written on it. Gu Hai slowly took out a golden chess piece inside. The middle finger of his index finger held the golden chess piece. His eyes narrowed slightly, and he probed his hand to faintly press it in the void. Snap! The Lingshu seemed to resound with a knocking sound. Boom! The north of the city steeply rolled up in a rolling fog. It instantly blocked the Second Legion. The people and generals in Metropolis City all stared with wide eyes. 29 heaven and earth vertical and horizontal array. Mr. Gu can really manipulate it. At once, another large swath of gratitude surged towards where Gu Hai was. King Shikong in the south of the city was depressed for a while. "I also put up a fight. Why aren't you guys grateful to me?" The same fog as the west of the city. Humph, chess formation. If the Game Heaven Pavilion is going to be there, we're going to step on it as well. The humongous generals rushing at the front burst into a cold snort. Kill-in, rumble. The army rumbled into the large formation. Buzz. Right at this moment, there was a steep sword roar in the great formation, and under the sword roar, billions of sword chair erupted steeply in general. It instantly tore the fog apart. Countless bats rushed out from Mo Yaika's grand formation, and countless sword chi rushed out from Gu Hai's grand formation. Everyone stared with wide eyes. Who did Mr. Gu simulate? Countless people revealed a look of curiosity. A swordsman, Buzz. The fog dispersed, but it was slowly revealing the humanoid cloud beast of an old man in white inside. Dokoroku Mo. I know, Dokoroku. Steeply, someone exclaimed. After all, the battle of the Genjin sect with the Daiyuan Imperial Dynasty's scouts, they were still able to poke around a bit. That's not right. I remember the news said that Dokoroku was a middle-aged swordsman. And this is the old man in white. Huh, who is this? Someone was shocked. It's not Dokoroku. The crowd was stunned. Wasn't it the legend that Gu Hai was in the Genjin sect and simulated Dokoroku? Just at this moment, All the people only found a strange situation. But the sky is full of sword chair around the white-clothed old man cloud beast, but strangely has a law. Those sword chairs surrounded by a huge Taiji Chu too. Taiji diagram of sword chair. In the city, Fairy Runner was slightly stunned. Yi Divine Needle and Li Shenji also revealed a hint of surprise. Eunuch Yi, you have the most information. Who is this simulation? Li Shenji said blankly. Yes, this sword intent, so strange. Shouldn't all sword intent be sharp? This sword intent is instead round and round, forming its own Taiji. Long Shenwu frowned. I don't know. I don't know either. What was that Dokuroku last time? I don't know either. Yi Divine Needle said bitterly. Who did Guhai simulate again? Pretending to be a god. Release the arrows, a general bellowed. Drink, at once. The 200,000 divine blood army drew their bows and countless arrows rained down towards the white-clothed old man. Boom. It was like 200,000 long rainbows that seemed to be shooting the 100 feet tall gigantic cloud beast into a sieve. Gu Hai, who was on top of the cloud beast's head, smiled coldly. It's because of the fact that there are so many of you that I didn't use Dokuroku. 200,000 arrow rains. Welcome. As he spoke, the white-clothed old man stepped forward with his feet, turned his long sword around, and chanted, He's strong, let him be strong, the clear wind brushes the hillock. Along the long sword traction, strange around the old man's body to rotate up. 200,000 rainbows, a strange turn, the original arrow towards the north, and then slowly turn, the arrow reversed, towards the south up. The old man's long sword swung, boom. The 200,000 long rainbows turned their eyes towards the divine blood army that was charging in. Wow, the countless people in the city were in an uproar. The rain of arrows turned around. The rain of arrows that even Lord Mo's cloud beast didn't dare to touch hard. And that Lord Qing could only dodge, were actually turned around and shot back by Mr. Gu's long sword of that cloud beast. All of them went back. The power didn't decrease. What kind of technique is this? Taiji sword formation. It seems like that white-robed old man didn't put out much force at all. 200,000 arrows raining down turned around and went back. The people were in an uproar. The second legion on the opposite side also changed their faces. Watch out! Everyone rose up in alarm, rumble. At once, arrows rained down, and large swaths of the divine blood army were hit by arrows, rumble. For a while, people were tumbling over, and under the 200,000 long arrows, nearly 10,000 God's blood soldiers and horses were killed or injured. What? From afar, the second army chief's face changed. Qin Bai, who was in the midst of vomiting blood from his serious injuries, also had eyes that were about to protrude out. Who are you? The second army chief also glared and droned. Taiji, Zhong Sanfeng, the white-clothed old man turned his long sword around and looked at the opposite army with plain eyes.